Okay. Welcome to Island Time with Greg Erickson. I am here in Snohomish with my good buddy Jay Coe.
Hello.
And we're gonna do episode 2 of our new podcast, where we're gonna talk to some local folks, talk about some local folks, and just casually chat.
How was the first episode received?
First episode was really well received.
Good.
Content was fantastic. As you can see, if you look at episode 1 versus episode 2, we're going to have a little bit more visual this time. We've got 3 cameras up here. We've got 1 camera over here looking at Jay. So it's this is going to be a much better setup. And as we evolve and learn how to do this a little bit better, it got much smaller. So it's awesome. We're super excited. Love the feedback that we got so far, and excited to continue.
So one of the key part of this is the island talk, and on the first one we weren't able to portray that as good as we should have. So now we're gonna fully show you the island, people coming and going.
Yep.
We have a little thing on who's gonna photobomb us first.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because, as I said on episode 1, beer over here, ice right here, coffee machine, fridge. People will be going around us throughout the time we're filming, which is great. This is an active workplace, and we love the activity that goes on here. It is a Monday, getting closer to the end of summer, and so it may be really full today. It may not be. We'll just see what happens.
And as someone who puts these types of things together, it's really awesome to just have like a casual environment where, other than technology not working, it's super casual. I love it. I'm really excited to be part. And I appreciate you forcing me to be on this side with the microphone, because that is not my thing. But
it's so good, though. It's so good because we're going to talk back and forth. You're going to give me direction, and to have people got to see you.
I think I need to sit over there next time, because you keep looking at me when your camera's over here. So
that's good. Right. That's a good point.
Anyways, we had lunch last week. Yeah. At this nice spot. Yeah. It's terrible because I forgot the name already.
The Oxford Saloon.
The Oxford Saloon. And I couldn't remember if the menu said Philly cheesesteak or cheesesteak.
I think it just said cheesesteak.
Okay.
I think
if it said cheesesteak, it was delicious. It was good cheesesteak. Definitely not Philly cheesesteak. But
because you are from Philadelphia.
I'm from Philly, and I'm very picky about my cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Many people claim Philly cheesesteak here and there. Can't do cheesesteak like Philly.
Yeah.
But
you did enjoy it, though.
I did, and that was a super cool vibe. Just we walked in, and the waitress was super nice. Just like sit wherever.
Yeah. The Oxford Saloon is one of my favorites in town. We've got so many great bars and restaurants. The Oxford is a pretty cool and special place. It's very old. I don't know how old, but it's over 100 years old. It was a brothel way back when. There is if you look on registries of what's haunted in the United States, that comes up as one of the most haunted places apparently in the area. It's got a main level where we were eating. That's really tall ceilings. Old bar down one side. For a long time before COVID, they had live music 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Christmas, everything. Since COVID, that's changed a little bit, but they're bringing it back. Live music is always in there. That's really cool. Downstairs is kind of a dark sports bar-y kind of place. Pool tables, dartboards, another bar downstairs.
Does it have access out to the back to the river?
No, there is a door out there, but I don't think there's any seating out there. No, yeah. And then upstairs was closed for a long time. That's where the legend has it that the madam of the brothel was found dead in a bathtub.
Wow.
And that was closed for a long time, and just before COVID, they opened it as sort of a speakeasy type bar, high-end craft cocktails, a little bit different. You could get small plates from downstairs, and it closed for a while, and now it's back open.
See, this is what's so cool about like small businesses in our community is like they all come with a story. Because I would have never known that
Yeah.
had you not told me about that. I'll bet you there's a lot of people out there that have eaten there before that don't know the story.
Yeah.
So
The Oxford is a really cool place. The Swanson family has owned it for quite a while. They own the business and the building, and it's just a fun place. And it's great lunch. We both had sandwiches. They've got good salads. They've got a mac and cheese that is kind of to die for.
I'm a big prime rib dip guy too.
Yeah, and it's good.
It was. I was perplexed because do I go with the favorite or do I give the cheesesteak a try? It didn't disappoint. So shout out to Oxford.
Yeah.
If you are a eatery in Snohomish, like, we should be sponsored so we can come eat.
I go there a fair amount. I know the people that work there pretty well, but it's good. So yeah, that was a good time.
Cool. So we're talking about we are talking about the
Come in, do whatever you want.
Is it called the festival?
The Snohomish Block Party.
Snohomish Block Party.
Yes.
All right.
So the Snohomish Block Party had its inaugural event last year, end of summer. John L. Scott Snohomish was the primary sponsor of that event, and last year it went for 3 days. And there's live music, and there's food, and there's I think there was magicians on the street and all kinds of fun stuff. Just a real community-focused event. And one of the owners of the Snohomish Block Party, so it is owned by a group of 3 people, Kelli Toomey. Come on up, Kelli. Kelli is actually an agent in our office as well, but Kelli is one of the 3 owners of the Snohomish Block Party, and she's here to
Hello,
chat
Kelli.
with us a little bit.
Can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
So, kind of like how that's Greg's camera, this is your camera.
Wonderful.
And this is the community camera.
Don't blow it.
I won't.
So, Kelli, we are, first of all, thank you for coming.
For sure.
Yeah. You and your family are friends of mine and heavily involved in the community and everything that happens here. So it's awesome to have you here. The Snohomish Block Party is in its 2nd year. Tell us a little bit about last year and what has changed from last year to this year.
Yeah, for sure. So last year was our first year doing the block party. It was great. It was run by just a handful of people who were volunteering, putting this thing on. It really was born in COVID when we all thought COVID was going to be this short-lived couple months. Let's just get through this couple months together, and then we're going to throw this big party in town. Have some local bands, beer gardens, food, all that kind of thing. Well, COVID unfortunately kind of made its way through forever. And but we still threw the event, and it was great. It was a 3-day long festival, and it was a lot. So this year we kind of shrunk it all down, and it's just 2 days now. We've got Friday on Friday, and then Snohomish Live on Saturday.
So Friday on First, what's kind of the highlight of that?
That is, well, it's a 21 and over event. We've got Joel McHale coming. He's going to do some comedy
Local
for
comedian.
us.
Awesome.
Yep. He was born and raised in Mercer Island, went to UW, so.
Did you ever watch Talk Soup when he had it?
I didn't.
It's amazing.
I do. I need to go.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Watch some of his stuff. I did. He was on with Jimmy Fallon last week. I watched a little bit of that last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's coming. He's going to do an hour-long comedy session. We've got Anna Thompson. She's a local up-and-coming artist. She's coming. We've got Alfredo's Ghost coming, and then we're going to end the night with a big dance party with Nightwave.
Awesome. So Friday, you say, is 21 and over. What does that look like throughout the day? So what time does it start? And families and everything are still allowed in downtown Snohomish.
Oh, of course.
At all times.
Right.
But then is there a cordoned off area that's specific for the 21
Yeah,
and
so
over?
if you're familiar with downtown Snohomish, First Street's not going to be affected. We are keeping it open. Glen and Union are going to be where we have Friday on First. So that's going to get shut down right around 11 o'clock during the day for us to get all set up for this event. The event doors open at 5. So, yeah, just Glen and Union. First and second will be open. We're really not affecting very much parking. We all know how much we
Parking is
admire
fun
parking
in our
down
town.
here.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. But it will be all fenced off. 21 and over, doors open at 5, and the event goes until 10. Glen and Union will be closed for all of that time, and then as
Overnight
well,
too?
Overnight too.
Okay.
So we're just not going to open it up. It's a lot of work for the city to open it back up at 10 p.m. and close it again the next day. So we're just going to keep those 2 streets closed for safety, and so we don't have
Cool.
to tow cars.
And then Saturday
Yep.
is kind of the more, that's a family-friendly event
Yeah.
for at least, is it all day
I would say
family-friendly?
all day, kind of
Okay.
depends on your music vibe. But for sure, Saturday during the day is family friendly. So that is from 11 to 5, same platform. We've got Glen and Union shut down. We're going to have a kids stage kind of far down on Glen in front of Brava's, and have some different, the varsity rock kids bands are coming.
Cool.
They're going to play. We've got a couple artists that specialize in kids music. We'll have bouncy houses.
Awesome.
Kid vendors. Snohomish Sports Dome is going to come do some activities for us in that kid zone. And then we'll have vendors up and down the street, food trucks, side stage, beer garden, your whole day of fun. So that's 11 to 5 on Saturday.
Have you guys ever been to the Mill Creek Festival?
Yes.
So is it similar?
I've not been to the Mill Creek
Oh,
one.
okay.
I've been to the Mill Creek Festival.
Are there going to be like vendors?
Yep.
Yes.
So it is very
Yeah, food trucks,
Yeah.
retail
Yeah.
vendors, crafters.
I'd say footprint-wise, smaller than Mill Creek Festival
Gotcha.
considerably, but
I
overall
mean, when
the same
Mill
kind
Creek
of vibe.
Festival first started, apparently it was pretty small, and it's actually gotten really big.
Yeah,
so
it's big.
It's not just Mill Creek anymore. Like people from
Right.
all over the place come.
Yeah. And we've got, in Snohomish, we've also got another thing that we just had 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, called Klahia Days. And that's an annual event that happens here. There's a carnival out at Harvey Field. There's a parade, some things. So this is not in conjunction with Klahia Days. This is a completely different event with a different focus. But ultimately, it's just a great event to bring the community together, to have some entertainment, to bring people into town, and it's promoted beyond our borders, right? It's promoted to everybody. We welcome all people coming.
I mean, you could never
Yeah.
not have enough.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
And that's our goal.
Exactly.
We want to get bigger and bigger every year. We would love eventually at some point just shut the whole town down and have a big old party for 2 days. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the future of the
Yeah.
Snohomish Block Party.
And then the big names on Saturday night.
Yep,
Tell me
so
about
Saturday night, after the Snohomish Block Party Street Fair is what's going on Saturday daytime. Saturday night, we transition over to the Carnegie Library, and we will be putting on a big concert. And those doors open at 5, and we've got a good lineup this year. So Sir Mix-a-Lot, if you went last year, he is coming back.
that. Oh yeah. He played
went
for an hour plus last
Yeah.
year.
It was a great show last year. So he actually wanted to come back, so we contacted him, and he's coming back, and he's bringing Digital Underground with him. So they're kind of our
You remember Digital Underground?
I do.
The Humpty
Humpty
Dance?
Wow.
Yeah.
so
Are you old enough?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she.
I just cultured. That's
All right.
fine.
Yeah.
And then we've got Zella Day is going to be playing, as well as Bert Talker. So those 4 guys are
Awesome.
going to be setting the stage over at the Carnegie Library from 5 to 10. We'll have a couple food trucks in the ticketed area, as well as beer garden.
Beer garden.
Yep.
Beer garden.
Beer garden.
Beer garden. You can't
Beer
have
garden is sponsored by.
the Malicious Woman Candle Company.
Awesome.
Yep. So
Awesome.
they're helping us out, providing all the volunteers for the beer gardens, and really just taking that to another level.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be
this
great.
is really a community event, like we were saying, and all the things are most of the things are sponsored by local deals. So John L. Scott Snohomish is again the primary sponsor of the event. I'm sponsoring something
Yeah.
individually. What do I have?
The beer garden VIP cups. So,
Beer garden VIP
yep,
cups,
If you
yes.
want to upgrade your beer garden.
Yeah,
If you want
yeah.
to upgrade your beer to a 16-ounce beer, Greg Erickson.
I'm helping with that.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
So-
so you're helping pay for all the upgrades to the 16 ounce? How's that work?
yeah, yeah. No, I sponsored
he,
it.
He sponsored it, so he bought all the cups.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
if you purchase one of the VIP cups, then you get an extra 4 ounces of beer every time
Yeah,
you get
and it's
one.
got my logo on the cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the date again? I think I may have missed
Yes,
it in the
August
beginning.
26th and 27th, Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
And get here early. As we know, parking
Yeah,
is a
so
challenge.
we do, park wherever you can find parking, but we do have parking at the Snohomish Library. They are giving us the parking
Awesome.
for the day. So you can
then
park
just a
at the
short walk
library
down.
and then just jaunt down the trail. And
That's fantastic.
so we've got a little bit of parking there, all the side streets, of course, up by the high school, all of that. So
Yeah.
it'll
Well,
be
it's
a nice day.
fantastic. We're really excited to have it. Thank you so much for stepping in and
Yeah.
really taking this event to the next level. And let's give your partners in crime a little shout out
so
too.
there's three of us that run this whole entire event, and it's myself as well as Tex and Laura Page. They own the Looking Glass Coffee here in town. Yep.
I know where that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
great people. They're friends of mine. Our kids go to school together, and we just kind of came together and really wanted to put this thing on for our town. We're very passionate about downtown Snohomish.
Yeah. So that's it. If you have any questions about tickets, reach out to me, or you can find Kelli Toomey online, and you can go to snohomishblockparty.com. snohomishblockparty.com. You can get tickets there, and there's different tickets
Yep.
available for different things.
Yeah, you can go to just Friday, just Saturday, come for the whole weekend, T-shirts, your beer cup, and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
August
And if you want,
26, 27.
yeah, and
Yep.
if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. I can help you out.
For sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Kelli, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining
Thanks
us.
for
Thank you,
having me.
Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Don't trip on that. Okay. Don't go dying on me.
I was right as we were talking about beer garden. I just saw cans of Bud Light, and I'm just like, that's nice.
It is nice, isn't it?
That is nice.
It is nice. It's like I said, we have a keg and we have beer in the fridge. It's last week I actually came in toward the end of the day and had a Bud Light.
Do we? So do you take suggestions for what should go in the keg?
So it's been different. We've tried to stay local a lot with the keg because there's several breweries around
Right.
in town. Scrappy Punk and Haywire and Sound of Summit, and so we've tried to stay local. Josh's Taps and Caps has helped us out. Right now, what's on tap, Matt?
Georgetown.
So that's not a Snohomish local, but it's a Seattle local.
Gotcha. Oh,
What is
that's,
it?
that's so cool.
Lucille. Actually,
you might
what a
as well just grab
what a
a seat.
fantastic segue. I'm going to bring on Matthew Voss.
Good morning.
Voss the Voss. Oh, you're no. Come. Absolutely. Come on.
can
No.
get a lot.
This is part of the draw of all this. Yes.
Mess up my hair.
No.
Okay,
No.
good.
It's money.
Good.
Okay. So transitioning right now. This is Matt Voss. Your camera is that one.
Got it.
Okay.
This is
Camera.
Matt Voss is our designated broker for John L. Scott Snohomish. He was Rio and Matt had a relationship kind of before he came here, in that Matt was at another office, Sotheby's office in Bothell, and he was actually actively recruiting Rio, my business partner, in all this. And when Rio had the opportunity to open this office, he kind of flipped the script and interviewed Matt several times, and then I got brought into the fold. And so Matt has really been with us basically from the very beginning of this, and was truly, I don't even think we realized it for many months, but Matt was the most important thing that happened at this office, and it's remained so. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's wipe away your tears.
Yeah.
Matt has been
Bonus?
Matt has been involved in real estate for many years, and he is local. He grew up in Snohomish, was not born here, but went to Snohomish High School and had his first job in Snohomish. And so Snohomish is a very important part of his life with his family. Married, has a couple of young kids. Actually, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got here.
I moved up here from Arizona, probably 8th grade, and had no idea what I wanted to do. Completely different. Like, I left a very interesting place, moved up here. It was all fresh. Went to Centennial Middle School, then went to Snohomish High School, the freshman campus, back in the day when it was there.
Where was that?
Where the aquatic center is.
Oh, really?
Do you really didn't
No,
know?
I had no idea.
Yeah, so that was an entire freshman campus. It was a 9th grade campus. That's all that went there, all the people that went there.
No, I had no idea.
In the bottom of the freshman campus, we had a rifle. We had rifle team, and so we had a shooting range, in the bottom of the Snohomish Freshman campus.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And the high school has an armory, still does, for ROTC.
Really?
Yep, little known facts. But yeah, I was in ROTC for 3.5
Yep.
years. Went through that. Was originally actually wanted to leave and be a cop. I wanted to go and be a
You and
law
me both.
enforcement. Yeah, I did. But it just didn't work out for me. I'm a little bit of a rebel, so that didn't work out. But anyway, so I graduated high school from Snohomish High School and got into retail management. Did that for a while, but wanted the flexibility. Wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted with my schedule, not miss things. I didn't have kids yet, but I didn't want to miss anything sports wise, anything like that. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going to either sell insurance or I was going to sell real estate. And I don't know about you guys, but no offense to the real estate people or the insurance people out there, but it's not my gig. I don't want to talk about it every day. I don't want to sell it. So real estate was natural for me. I got into real estate, started selling for a couple of years, realized that one of the things that I miss is teaching, developing, and training. That was a big passion of mine. And so leadership in real estate was just natural for me. I quickly moved into leadership. Worked with Century 21 for a while. Great people over there. Learned a lot. Built my foundation. Worked there for about maybe 5 to 7 years. And Sotheby's recruited me away. I worked there for about a year. It was great. It was a great brand. And as you mentioned, I tried to recruit Rio there. He was a big target for all of us. He had a great reputation in this world, and he was doing a good job for himself. And so I made him promise that if he ever made a change, and if he ever wanted to leave John L. Scott, he would reach out to me and call me. And he did call me. I remember the day the phone rang. I remember looking at my phone thinking, oh my gosh, this worked. Rio's calling me. This is good. But it was totally flipped the script on me. He got an opportunity, him and Greg got an opportunity to open this office. And we talk and we joke and we say it was like 27 interviews later. It was quite a bit of...
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Quite a bit of back and forth. But here we are. And it was been the best move ever. This place is awesome. I'm so happy to be here and so lucky to work with all the people that I do.
So what's your day-to-day role? We had Nicole on here the last time we did a podcast, and she's got a very specific role with newer agents and onboarding and things like that. What's your role here as far as day-to-day, and then how you interact with agents, both new and experienced?
Yeah, being a designated broker, I am responsible, and that's kind of difficult sometimes. So I audit contracts a lot. I'm looking at, when people put deals together, they have to turn them in. I'm making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Everything's legit and mostly legal, that type of thing. Mostly, I say, because we like to write our own language a lot in contracts. But that's kind of my day-to-day role. And then coming up with ideas on development. As I mentioned just a bit ago, I love teaching and developing and things like that. And so it's coming up with relevant and current classes and relevant and current content that we can talk with our brokers about and adapt to this changing market. As many of you know, our market has completely shifted. And so it's coming up with kind of going back to the old school, like what we did before the market shifted. We focused a lot on good habits, practices, things like that. But then encouraging people to work together. And if something's working very well, we have a very collaborative group. As you can see at Island Time here with Greg, it's very collaborative in this office. And so if something's working good for somebody, they like to come and share it and hopefully invite others to try it
and
as
that
well.
usually happens right around here.
Yep,
yeah,
sure does. Yep.
Just to give you a little kudos, we've been open as an office for just over 3 years. We opened March 1st of 2019, and we've assumed all along when new offices open, we assume that we're going to be audited at some point to make sure that we're doing everything that fits with the Washington State DOR and the DOL and all the different entities that make sure that we function as intended. And so it took a little bit longer for it to happen than I think we all expected.
I think COVID probably slowed it down like everything else.
So probably 3 months ago or so, we were contacted by the DOR, right?
Actually, it's DOL.
It was DOL. It was DOL.
DOL. I just got a phone call, and his gentleman introduced himself. Very nice guy from the Department of Licensing, letting us know that we were being audited. I had been through audits in the past, kind of on the sidelines, helping out. But now the spotlight was right on me. Magnifying glass was right on me. So I might get some of the details wrong, but they randomly picked 10 specific transactions from our history and said, present these transactions to us. And for those of you that don't know, you guys buy and sell houses, and you sign anywhere between a 14 and 35 page contract. We encourage you always to read every word. That doesn't always happen, but there's
after those contracts happen, there's lots that goes on in the background. We are required to maintain a dialogue record of all communication that we have with our buyers and sellers. Whether that's text messages or emails, we're required to maintain that. And so one of the things that we have to do is we have to upload all of that into every one of the transactions is kept online somewhere. The program we use is called Brokerment. You don't care. But in that program, we have all the pages of your contract, all our dialogue, communication, all that kind of stuff. And so Matt had to present 10 full transactions, which is a lot of data, to this auditor. And champion Matt, 100%. And so to pass an audit like that, first time, the auditor didn't say, come back to me with this, you need to prove this. First time, 100%. So this just speaks volumes to the focus and the attention to detail that Matt has for things inside our office.
Yeah, thank you.
It is really, it did not go unnoticed. That's a huge deal. And so having that sort of backing within the office when agents come to you with questions about contracts, we are so confident in the ability that you have shown that contracts are going to be done right. The help that you give to agents on a daily basis, the advice and corrections that you give to us on a daily basis has been amazing. And
well, thank you.
Yeah. How did you learn all of this?
I would have never thought in school.
Matt, you would have made an amazing insurance salesperson. By the way. I know. I've done both.
Thank you. No, I would have never realized that I would take a passion and such a liking to contracts and legalities and how they work and that whole process. But the more I've worked this position and the deeper we dive, I mean, there's so many different pieces in a contract, and so that is just interested me, and I've carried that through in the job. So it's fun. Every day I learn.
So awesome. Question, do you still do transactions too? Like, do you help buyers and stuff? So when you write a contract, who reviews that?
So that's a great question. It's reviewed by me. I had to review my own contract. I would certainly lean on Nicole because she could see things that I certainly couldn't in a contract. But interestingly enough, it is self-audited in that case. And I only do a couple. I mean, very close friends and family. I might do a few transactions a year, but my primary focus is the growth and support of the office.
Yeah,
I can tell you, as I guess people don't know, I'm a real estate agent too. So there's so much value in knowing that, having that backstop, right? Like, I mean, I do my best to make sure everything is good, but just knowing that there's a backstop.
Absolutely.
If I miss something, if something is not 100% correct, like someone like Matt's going to be able to catch that, like that means a lot.
Yeah. It's huge because we don't, as many of the viewers of this would know, I've only been involved in this for 4.5 years. My background is not in contracts. I'm not good at that aspect of this.
Right.
I do fine, but my bread and butter is the personal relationships and the talking to people and negotiating and things like that. And knowing that I don't have to focus on the contract side of things, that Matt has the oversight on that is a huge thing. I think all of the agents in here realize
and I've
that.
I've worked with brokers that are 2 months or 2 weeks into this, writing an offer. I've worked with some brokers who have been doing this far longer than I have, and it just becomes a second set of eyes. It's not uncommon for me to get a phone call that says, hey, could you jump into this transaction, get a second set of eyes on this and see if I'm missing anything? Or we strategize together. We talk about like interest rate buy downs right now is a common thing rather than just reducing purchase price. So we talk about strategy. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of strategy, over the last couple of years, maybe not the last 2 months, but the 6 months prior to that, with how creative buyers and sellers were getting with stuff, and now it's just shifted. Now it's the buyers now it's the sellers that are getting a little bit more creative.
Sure.
But your strategy planning and your creativity and things, you kind of had to be really ingenious over the last year.
Well, I think the last year would remind me of just like hunker down and cover up and try to minimize liability. It got crazy with people releasing lots of earnest money and writing their own contract language, and just the market was shifting faster than any. I mean, I read articles that we were experiencing a tougher market than like New York was, or any of those places that were seeing like really, really busy markets when we were doing things wild, like releasing the earnest money, all these types of things. And so I would say the last year or two has just been trying to minimize liabilities on all sides of the transaction, make sure that buyers understand what they're getting into when they're releasing their earnest money, when they're waiving their inspections, when they're taking all these risks. Those may be necessary risks, but they need to understand what those risks entail and what those really mean to them. So, yeah.
And so with things settling down a little bit, that gives you it allows you to breathe a little easier.
It does, but we're still seeing a hybrid. Some brokers that maybe are still adapting to the market. We're seeing some hybrid practices that, release of earnest money, but not calling it calling it the wrong contract language. So it's now we're in this adjustment period of adjusting back to what a normal market might look like.
Releasing earnest money versus converting earnest money into a non-refundable deposit. That's one that we've seen and had to deal with. Yeah, not the same thing. No. So business talk aside, tell us a little bit about your family so people that are watching this can learn the personal side of Matt too.
Yep. Well, I've got a wife who's a stay-at-home mom, far harder job than I have. She takes care of the kids nonstop. And speaking of kids,
you take care of lots of kids.
Yeah. You
take care of lots of kids.
That's true. But I've got a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they're both. We kind of fell in love with ice hockey. It was a cheap date night for my wife and I when we first got together, and we'd go to Silvertips games. And it was pretty inexpensive, and then we quickly developed into season ticket holders, and then went from there. And then when we decided to have kids, we never missed a beat. In fact, she jokes that I think when it was our firstborn, I was frustrated because she went into labor or ended up delivering on the night of like an opening game of the Silvertips or something, and I was so torn. I know, I couldn't believe it. But by the way, I made the right choice. I was there. I knew you were going there. No, I was there for my child's birth, so I was present for that. But we've fallen in love with hockey, and so much so that my oldest, Aiden, he is majorly into hockey now. He actually plays on a league up north in Vancouver, BC, and so he's on a select league. He's worked really hard to earn that.
Remind me to send you a picture. We'll overlay a picture of him in this really awesome goalie mask.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's pretty.
Greg
cool.
Was awesome.
Voss the boss.
Greg sponsored that actually. He got it.
It's just cool.
It is cool, but it was very generous.
Greg sponsors a lot of things, apparently.
Generous man. So, yeah, Aiden's big in hockey. And then actually Drew, he's doing swimming lessons and all those things, but he's actually now getting out on the ice. In fact, today, he's got skating lessons. So he'll be out there on the ice. So hockey has become, it's very expensive sport, but at the same time, it's this huge community. Actually, I should call it a small community. It's really a small community because most people inside of the community. It's been a really big blessing for our family. We absolutely love it, and it's been a big passion of ours.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch, and I've just seen Aiden over the last couple of years making it to the next level and to the next level and to the next level, and it'll be really fun to watch Drew come up and do that too. It'll be super fun. And you've got another family passion that takes you guys outside.
We do. I've got a number of years ago, I set a goal. I wanted to get a Jeep Wrangler. That was like my gear or my goal, and so. I got one, and so now we try to go up.
It's not just a Jeep Wrangler.
It's a 392 Jeep Wrangler. It's got
I need a picture of that too.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's pretty cool. We really love it, and we try to make a goal last summer to go up every weekend and go off road. And so now we've gone off road We've got a lot of hockey now, but we've gone off road a couple weekends and looking for more and just constantly evolving it and changing it. It's like a potato head of cars. Keep adjusting it. So.
Take the ears off, put new ears on. Yeah, I did. I did have one, and they do that. I mean, it's a stupid joke, but it is just empty every pocket. Jeep, Jeep. But there, because you can spend money
on anything
for that.
Door handles, hinges, anything.
Yeah. So anyway, Jay, you got any questions for Matt?
You gotta stop making me want to come here.
Jump ship.
I can't.
I understand, and I've certainly never intended to recruit you.
This is my 4th visit here. I love the vibe. If I can go back 7 years and to the genesis of my real estate career, man, had you guys existed back then, this would have been awesome. I have a question. You said you started March of 2019.
Yeah.
Because that may just be like the worst time to.
So it's actually the timeline. So we opened officially as John L. Scott Snohomish on March 1st of 2019. This building was not done.
Oh, okay.
So we did not. All of our recruiting in that first 6-month period was we were completely just selling a vision. We were selling ourselves, Matt, Rio, and me. We were selling.
A year later, it was COVID.
Yeah, so we officially opened our doors in November of 2019, and then we didn't have our grand opening until January.
Wow!
And so we had our grand opening with the corporate people from John L. Scott. We invited all of our clients and friends. Fancy event in here, and literally 3 or 4 weeks later, COVID closed. There was a bit of a loophole for us that we did close. We were closed for 3 weeks.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
3 weeks-ish, because everything closed. Yeah, and so we are not, well, it wasn't even that. We're not a real estate office. This facility is a co-working space, SnowWorks Community Workspace, and there was essential workers that used here, and so we were open for that, and in turn, all of our agents are members of SnowWorks Community Workspace, and so we were actually able to. We still had to follow rules. There were very specific rules we had to follow. We were not allowed to have any in-person meetings based on what John L. Scott Corporate told us. So we followed all the rules, but we still provided services, and that was unusual for real estate offices. And so we grew by 100%. I want to say.
Yeah, probably over 100%
during COVID. Because there were several agents. You
guys went through some crazy growth spurt.
Yeah, and we've been the fastest growing John L. Scott office in history.
Yeah.
So our goal at the end of 2019 was to have 10 agents. That's what, when we first sat down, we thought if we could have 10 agents at the end of 2019. And at the end of 2019, we had 21, I believe. 21, 24?
So in the 20s. Yeah,
somewhere in there.
So do you have to be like living in Snohomish or Snohomish County?
Absolutely not, no. I don't know that we have any outside of Snohomish County that are currently have their license here, but we have people in Edmonds, Mukilteo.
Yeah, it's Skagit County. I'd say up north in Skagit.
Yeah, we probably have Skagit County agents that are here, but it's primarily Snohomish County agents that are here for sure. But
but man,
Ashley, what city do you live in? It is Snohomish. Okay. But she's on the other side of the valley. So
but if you're like within a reasonable driving, like why wouldn't you come here and just get stuff done, hang out? Like, so most real estate offices, for those that still have offices, like I remember the firm that I was with, it was like in this medical building, and there was just hallway and bunch of doors which were never open. So me being the new guy, like I have to always just kind of is that person busy? Can I ask a question? But like this, where you can just literally come to an island and there's you and everybody else that's going to be able to just answer. And like that's invaluable.
The way it was born too was kind of interesting.
By the way, I'm pitching this really hard.
The way it was born was kind of interesting too. So Howard Chung is one of the vice presidents at John L. Scott Corporate. He's been integral in helping us along the way. He started in sales with John L. Scott. Personal friend of mine, great person. He and Rio went to the WeWork space in Bellevue and kind of just toured it. And it was sort of hey, what would it be like to have an office that had this kind of vibe? And then Rio started looking, and he was able to find 3 offices, three co-work spaces that were also real estate offices. One of them was in the state of Washington. I believe it's called Theory, and it's down in Tacoma, Gig Harbor, something like that. And they were, from what we see, it seemed like they were really more focused on the co-work side than the real estate side. But they had ping pong tournaments in their place all the time, and it was this vibe of more than cubicles. Nobody wants cubicles anymore. Right. And so we just sort of figured out that we could do this in a way that works for coworkers and real estate. In our area, there's nothing like this. And what you say is what we hear a lot. It's well, Nicole said it last month on here. It's once she stepped foot inside, she knew. It's just, and so it's, yes, the building is fancy, and yes, there's cool flashy things and coffee machines and stuff, but it's the Matt and the Nicole that make this place what it is, and the collaboration among agents.
Yeah, I think the facility almost has a life of its own. I mean, I feel like I'm a custodian of the facility's growth and its energy and like what it is. I mean, we've been extremely blessed as well. We have not had to, my previous job as part of the role of a designated broker, managing broker, is recruiting and growth of the office and retention. And I would spend a lot of time looking at growth and talking to different brokers and trying to grow the place and reaching out to them and developing those relationships. And here, it's been delightful. All of our brokers, every single person that's here has been a referral from another person in the office.
Yeah.
And we're so blessed. And I think we skipped a little bit over the founding members. We were working out of coffee shops. We were working out of a lot of different places that were totally unnatural for us. And we've even got a plaque on the wall that talks about the founding members that put their trust in us as an office before we even had a place to go. And it was just a vision of a few of us saying that we had this.
Who are the founding members?
Mm-hmm. That plaque right there has the names of all the founding members. And that's anybody that joined us in 2019.
That's awesome.
And and a really good point, because we had a video of what this place was going to look like. We had some drawings, some schematics, but we had to sell people
Can you send me some of that so I can show people?
We had to sell people on what we thought we were going to do and our heart for the community. Mm-hmm. That was the other big thing. And so in doing that, it's easy to get people here now, because if you get them in here, it's built and we're friendly and we're collaborative and we've shown success. But in the beginning, there was a lot of people that took heavy risk on coming here. And in fact, we had at least 3 or 4 agents that were really high producing agents that came to us.
Bought a vision.
Bought a vision.
Yep.
I think you may have started something that's going to turn into more of a future of how things could be in the future, right? Because we always talk about real estate being a relationship business, yet we don't really build relationship among each other because we're always out doing our thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I got something cooking myself right now, but I got to give you credit because 100% of the inspiration came from you and Snowworks. And I just happened to just kind of add whatever I was doing on top of it.
And I know what you're doing, and your individual twist on it is really, really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we're gonna have to do an island talk at my place when it's ready.
For sure.
But, I mean, it was for me, it's a complete, like, this was the inspiration when I was working, when we were kind of drawing things up with our interior designer. Like, I told her, like, this is what I saw, and this is what I want. So
it works really well. It's people above everything. That's our culture.
Right.
Our humanity is really what built this place. But the physical building and the design, we have other office owners coming in here pretty regularly to see how are they growing so much. What did they do different? And this was not an inexpensive thing. This was a very expensive thing to put together. But we talk about the most valuable thing in here, aside from people, the island.
So Matt, you were one of the first ones.
Yeah, I was. There was a couple brokers before me that.
So,
but then yes,
compared to the vision that you were buying into versus what it actually is, how accurate or
I would say it's naturally evolved in an unpredictably delightful way, and by that because it has evolved completely. I mean, we would have never guessed that we were here or that leadership would have adjusted the way it has, and people like Rio moving to Texas was a big move, but it's worked out beautifully. He's still a big supporter of the office, and so I would say that it's evolved naturally but beautifully, and it's just as I mentioned earlier, custodian of a bigger thing that's just constantly evolving. I think one of the secrets to success, and was a difficult thing for me to bite off on, is not having an office. Like I do have a place that I can sit behind a closed door if I need to. That I'm not saying that, but I used to have. We're also used to this in this business of this mentality of going behind getting in an office and closing a door and like plugging away at a keyboard and working. But as you mentioned a moment ago, it's a relationship business. So getting out from those offices and getting out of those places has allowed me to get to know every single person in this building a heck of a lot more. I think the interaction is naturally happens with people in collaboration versus getting behind offices and getting in cubicles is just, it's the old way of doing it.
We went through this like period. You know how when it comes to like, I don't know, you guys are you guys will remember, like in the 90s, the diet of choice was low fat.
Yeah.
And then in the year 2000, it was low carb.
Yeah.
And now it's like, keto. Like as time goes
You're talking
by,
to Matt and I about diets.
there's like this phase of different things. I feel like there was a point where the media and the community kind of went national, but it's quickly coming back to like hyper local. Like let's grow as a community. And this whole concept of like Snohomish, whether it's the city of Snohomish County, like just taking care of the like growing within, like helping each other. Like I think that is huge. And that's actually, I feel like that's where a lot of the business is headed, is local supporting locals.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really easy to see. We could be looked at as the bad guys by the locals of Snohomish, the Matts that have been here for a really long time, that don't necessarily want to see their town change. And who is inflecting that change? Who is influencing that change? It's realtors could be looked at that, because we are the people that are helping people move here in droves. And so how can we counteract that? And we felt being community driven from day one with John L. Scott Snohomish would be our best bet. That's why we sponsor everything we can. That's why we offer our space as a hub for events and things like that. We want the people who have been here a long time to know that we don't want, our goal is not to change this town. Our goal is to make this town
Make it better.
Yep. Keep it great, make it better. And so from that aspect, I think we will continue to learn how we can serve in our community. There will always be more for us to do, but I think we are heading down the right path right now, both inside the office and out.
I think it's awesome. Like I said, you keep making me want to come, but I can't. But hey, can you turn your water bottle real quick? Should we make like a merch store? Because I would buy that.
Okay, let's talk about that. I could do that.
I would buy that.
I could do that. I actually need to place another order for these anyway. They're gone right now.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think that's
Cool.
it. Matt, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
guys.
joining us. Don't trip on that cord.
Okay.
Appreciate it very much. There you go.
Dude, I swear, if we could, it would be very easy for us to turn this into like a 3-hour chat.
I know,
if we
I know.
Really wanted to.
I know.
And let's see how it goes. But I'm really excited at the fact that we're going to be providing platform for the local businesses, people that are around here to actually be able to share theirs. Everybody has a story.
Yep.
You just need a platform to be able to tell it.
Agreed.
Sometimes that platform isn't easy to come by, especially if you're a small business owner and things like that. But for you to be able to make that on an island, I think it's kinda cool.
We've got some really good guests coming up over the next couple of episodes. We are going to have industry-related people. I have somebody that helps me with all of my transactions. Her name is Mariah Berg, and you can't see her right now, but she's back in that office. But she's somebody that literally I cannot do this business without. And I'm going to have her on here to tell her story. She's got a fantastic story. And then we talked about this. I'm a day away from a haircut. I get my haircut every 2 weeks. So I'm Matt too. We get our haircut by the same guy, and
So without giving too much away, it's
Yeah.
going to be some type of a remote island.
I believe
situation.
so. I believe so. I believe we're the next at least one episode, maybe two, will be probably not from this island, but from another island. So
I think there's a lot. So who is this going to benefit? It's going to benefit real estate agents that wants to do better business. It's going to benefit small business owners in and around Snohomish. Just for you to be able to get to know the town,
Yeah.
Because I don't think our goal is like, let's go viral nationally, because somebody in
Nobody's
Philly
gonna
can
care.
less about,
Right.
Snohomish.
Right.
Other than that, there's a place that makes cheesesteak, but, but if we can get the town to gather and create something that everybody can enjoy, take part in.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
For sure. Yeah, it's good.
More people need to be doing it, not just because I make these kind of stuff. But I mean,
No, I agree.
And for me, it's officially become something that I actually enjoy being part of. Not just the making part of it, but for me to actually participate very awkwardly in front of the camera. So,
it's good.
Yeah, I think.
No,
I love it.
it's really good.
We're gonna be getting ready to get the audio version of it actually in a form of a podcast, so that it's gonna be available on iTunes and Spotify. So those are some of the logistics things that you and I will have to work out so that we can hit up as many platforms as possible. But
awesome.
I really like where this is at.
It's good. It's good. So we're gonna sign off here in just a second. I've got a wedding to go to on a Monday afternoon. One of my dearest friends and her soon-to-be husband, who is also a dear friend, getting married today. They've had to postpone their wedding several times because of COVID and other things over the last couple of years. So really excited to go to a wedding, but it's unusual to go on a Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And then we've got Alicia and I are finishing up some stuff with getting the Wander Creek Retreat ready for renters. We've already got 5 bookings, I think. We put it on the VRBO or Airbnb, I think is where we put it.
Did you get pictures yet? Send them over so
we did get some pictures. Okay. Alicia took some pictures when we were up there. We've got a few things to finish before we really do full photos, but that's going good. And then on Thursday morning, we leave for Tempe, Arizona to deliver our youngest daughter, Ava, to college.
Wow.
And we'll be down there for 4 or 5 days.
ASU, right?
ASU, yeah. And we will officially be empty nesters. Although the day we get back, our older daughter's coming home for 3 days. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Jay, I appreciate you and all your help. Appreciate my guests, Kelly and Matt, for coming on and taking the time. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time on Island Time.